else did he beat? Carlisle, Wrexham, Walsall, Lincoln, who else were it? Halifax, yeah. That's what, and Blackpool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's that 6, isn't it? When you start rolling?
Start when you're ready,
Ready? Welcome to Turf Moor on a bright bonfire night, November the 5th. Burnley, of course, looking for 7 wins in a row. And let's look at the two teams. First of all, Burnley side in goal, Andy Marriott, 2, Paul France, 3, Joe Jacob, Steve Davis at 4, John Pender 5, Andy Farrell 6, 7, Steve Harper, John Deary 8, 9, John Francis, Mike Conroy 10, Graham Lancashire 11. No place for Roger Eli, presumably he's injured this evening. 2 subs for Burnley, Mark Yates at 12, Danny Sonner at 14. And for York City, Andy Gosnev, Andy Macmillan, Phil Crosby, 4, Sean Reid, 5, Steve Tuthill, 6, Paul Atkins, 7, Nigel Pepper, John McCarthy's 8, 9, Ian Blackstone, and Wayne Hall is at 10. Number 11 is Tony Canham. The 2 subs for York City tonight, Tony Barrett at number 12, and number 14, Andy Curtis. We synchronise our watches. Just a reminder of Burnley's wins. Carlisle United, it all started for Jimmy Mullen at home. Went away the week after, 6-2 against Wrexham. A 2-0 win at home to Walsall. Lincoln City away. That was a good win too. We've seen Blackpool disposed of in one of the Autoglass Trophy matches at Bloomfield Road. And finally last week, Halifax Town at the Shea, a 2-0 win for the Clarets away from home. So 7. Burnley looking for 7 straight wins in a row. A long, long time since Burnley team has done that, I might add. Burnley will kick off. As we sit in the Bob Lord stand from left to right, attacking towards the be-all end of the ground. On a chilly but dry night, bonfire night, and appropriate that Guy Fawkes came from York City. We'll wait for the referee, who is Mr. J.W. Lloyd from Wrexham, linesman Mr. Berry and Mr. Butler. Mr. Lloyd kicks this match off, and it's York City on this left side with Wayne Hall. Quickly back to Crosby. Here's Sean Reid, brother of Peter Reid. Andy Macmillan, right-hand side for York, in yellow shirts, dark blue shorts, yellow socks. Joe Jacob in a left-back position, looks more comfortable there. Long sweeping ball down the Burnley left, intercepted by Paul Atkins. Atkins, long ball for York City, looking for the head of Ian Blackstone. And here come York City with number 11, who is Tony Canham, who's racing down the inside left channel, and a corner to York City. A corner which will be taken by Tony Canham, the man that started that move off down that inside right channel, and Canham to take this corner. And rather a strange one to the near post. Conroy whacks it away for Burnley. Macmillan has the ball in as far as Pender, and we're looking for McCarthy there. And Pender again in a bit of trouble, but to the rescue is Paul France. Andy Marriott with a drop kick, and a greyish coloured goalkeeping jersey. John Deary now slips a short ball to Davis, who gets Losing possession there. Here's John McCarthy. Back to skipper Phil Crosby. Phil Crosby with the throw midway inside the Burnley half. York City's left-hand side. Crosby still holding the ball aloft. Still we see time wasting or looking for players in space. Crosby gets the return from Blackstone. Blackstone's noted for whacking the ball rather hard just outside the penalty area. So he could be a lethal man for York City. Caretaker manager in Mr. Swallow at the moment, who is himself a publican and an advisory on the York City board, and some 35 applicants for the York City job, and we still await for York's new manager, and it won't be Mr. Swallow. Nigel Pepper's cross, the shot comes in from Canham and it ends nearly cannons down the tunnel. Tony Canham, another man with a rather fierce shot. No goals at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, York City 0. Marriott's goal kick. Conroy to take a throw, a quickly taken throw for Burnley, and in fact leaves it for Joe Jacob, the left full back, just inside the York City half. Burnley's left-hand side. Finds John Deary, tries to switch play, nearly loses possession. Here's Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis pushes the ball wide to the right-hand side where John Francis awaits that one, but Phil Crosby was in there. And a bit of fouling from Phil Crosby gives Burnley a free kick. And John Deary just leaving it for momentarily. Joe Jacobs switching sides. To take this one into the Burnley air. Francis goes up, but the York City defence heads that away with Nigel Pepper. And a break on that right-hand side for Andy McMillan as he goes overlapping down the right-hand side. Joe Jacob getting in the way and fouling there. Free kick to York City, midway inside the Burnley half of the field. The man brought down, of course, is Ian Blackstone, tall centre forward for York. Free kick to York City with Tony Canham and Nigel Pepper. Tony Canham's fierce shot hits the back of the heel of Conroy. Farrell gets the ball away via Davis. Graham Lancashire, of course, now a very established first-team squad member. 7 goals in 6 games, I do believe. A Blackpool lad who took quite a bit of stick. Oh dear, Steve Davis making rather a mess of that one, concedes a free kick. John McCarthy letting Steve Davis foul him as he tried to dispossess him. Free kick to York City. Phil Crosby placing the ball down. Nigel Pepper deciding he's going to take this one for York. And Phil Crosby just moves away. Graham Lancashire looks on with the number 11 shirt on his back. Here's Pepper. Whacks it far side. York City's right. Headed away by the Burnley defence. And rather a strange shot from Sean Reid, who balloons it wide of Andy Marriott's left-hand post. Goal kick to Burnley. John Deary and Andy Farrell, the goal scorers for Burnley against Halifax at the Shea, with a record attendance for Halifax of some 4,500. Marriott's drop kick. Looks for Graham Lancashire, not the tallest man on the field by any means. Long ball which John Pender will have to chase, so too does Ian Blackstone, but Pender down the Burnley right. John Francis will have to be sharp here. France, Lancashire to France. Francis puts a ball down the right. Some nice flowing football from Burnley. Comes to nothing, however, but nice to see the fast-flowing game. Burnley 0, York City 0. Free kick. Offside decision going against Burnley there. It'll be Paul Atkin to take this one for York City. as Andy Gosnev looks on in goal. John Pender rising well there. Crosby gets his right foot to that one, gets a throw in for his efforts. Crosby's throw. Wayne Hall twists and turns, edge of the area. Still it's Wayne Hall, looking tricky contender, still has possession, needs support. He's found it in Blackstone. Blackstone crosses over and a good headed out by Stephen Davis. Francis head nods down, but Yeller have the possession. Oh, York City. John Francis lets that ball run out of play. York City throw in. Crosby takes it to Hall. Hall just not quick enough to turn. Davis puts it out for a corner to York City. Second one to them. Canham to take York City's second corner. Pender heads out and the shot coming in from the big central defender there. That was in fact Steve Tuttle sneaking a shot in the trying to get the blind side of Andy Marriott, who pounced on it well for Burnley. Still no goals. The match seems to be flowing quite well. Burnley 0, York City 0. 10 minutes gone in this first half here at Turf Moor. Barclays League Division 4 as Marriott whacks it towards the be-all end of the ground. Tall figure of Conroy. And here's John Deary, who seems to play outstandingly well against his old club, more so than I've seen him. And that, of course, was usually against Blackpool. Joe Jacob making an advancing run down the left, but he pushes the ball out of play. York City throw in on York City's right-hand side. Andy Macmillan will retrieve the ball from that popular side. Blackstone keeps the ball in play as far as Davis. Here's Hall for York, pushing it a long ball down the left. Can John McCarthy catch it? No, he can't. John McCarthy having probably one of the most famous names at this present time. Jacob. A long ball again, one for Conroy. Conroy gets the head to it, but just goes a little too far. Over to Andy Gosney. Gosney's drop kick. A rather strange one. Phil Cosby can't understand that one, the skipper. John Francis takes advantage of this one, though. John Francis looking very dangerous here. And Lancashire going in, and a shot from Conroy! And a goal! So it was Cosby's mistake. Francis and Lancashire getting in there. Burnley 1, York City 0. "11 minutes. Mistake, really. A bad kick from the keeper to Crosby. Crosby couldn't do a lot with it. Francis could, however. Francis crossing and cutting inside the edge of the area. Graham Lancashire getting a foot in there. And finally, Conroy smacking the ball just at the edge of the penalty area. Burnley 1, York City 0. So Burnley carrying on where they left off last Saturday at the Shea. France getting in there as he comes back into the side. Steve Tuttle finding McCarthy, but Burnley win possession again. And really that could be Andy Gosney's result in that poor goal drop kick from the York City keeper. Phil Crosby couldn't do a lot with it, but John Francis could. Gosney again attempting this time a better one. Pender forward for Burnley. Francis's first touch not always the best as it was then. Throw into York City left hand side. Phil, the referee, Mr. Lloyd having words in the Burnley dugout. Perhaps a bit of coaching on the touchline perhaps. Cosby. Pender, Burnley skipper, puts the ball out. Another York City throw, 5 or 10 yards up that left-hand side for York. Cosby finds McCarthy. McCarthy runs straight into Pender. Pender's clearance comes off Hall. Burnley throw in. France to take it. France. Conroy shields the ball well, turns, makes good progress and takes a knock on the knee there. That's from Sean Reid, and certainly felt that one as he crashed into Sean Reid, the York City number 4. Burst of speed from Conroy and he collided with Reid, but here's Harper still with the bandage wrist. Jacob sportingly puts the ball out so that Mike Conroy can get some attention from the physicist Jimmy Mullen. So it's Burnley 1, York City 0. Mike Conroy on 11 minutes for the Clarets. After a bad clearance from Andy Gosnell, the York City keeper John Francis got it off Phil Cosby, the left-sided full-back for York. Francis causing havoc, cutting inside of the edge of the box. Graham Lancashire again a foot in there. Finally a ball running through to Conroy, who smacked the ball in from just inside the penalty area, giving Burnley a 1-0 lead. And we still await for Mr. Conroy to resume to his feet again. Taking a whack just below the kneecap off Sean Reid, who just comes up, the brother of Peter Reid, manager of Manchester City. Sean Reid, of course, used to play for Rochdale not too long ago. Burnley substitutes warming up. They are indeed Mark Yates and Danny Sonner. Mark Yates with the fairer hair of the two, who hasn't really figured in Burnley's plans so far. Mark Yates, 50,000 buy from Birmingham City, hasn't really been the player that we were, I think, looking for. Still, it's Mike Conroy we await for. Some considerable injury time with this one, a couple of minutes. And Mike Conroy appears to be okay again. Burnley 1, York City 0 then. And the goal scorer tying up his familiar white socks with claret tops. There'll be a throw into York City, far side of the field, right on the halfway line, just inside the York half. And sportingly given back to Burnley by Andy McMillan. Marriott's drop kick towards that Beale end into the dark night air here at Burnley. McCarthy doing wonderfully well there. Twice he got round Pender. McCarthy's bracing through. Marriott comes out just on the 6-yard line to smother that one. John McCarthy having a rush of blood there for York City and nearly going it all alone. John Francis attempting to get round Crosby again, but Crosby puts the ball out of play. Burnley throw in, France will take. Andy Farrell in space to the left of him, but he chooses John Deary. Deary back to France. France first time chip into Conroy. Conroy gets the flick on, and a good one too for Francis. Oh, right across the face of the goal. Lancashire falls, and a goal comes in from John Deary. So that's 2-0. So Mr. Deary, formerly of Blackpool, has given Burnley a 2-0 lead. That coming on 17 minutes. Conroy's head onto Francis. Francis crossed over. Lancashire again getting a foot in, but John Deary was there to punish the ball into the back of the net, giving the keeper Andy Gosnell no chance at all. Burnley 2, York City 0. So Conroy, the provider, Conway, the goal scorer. John Deary finished that one off from Francis. Twice John Francis been involved in both goals. Burnley 2, York City 0. Conroy on 11, Deary on 17. The Burnley team keeps rolling on. Cosby, Farrell heads forward. Look, Conroy again. Francis, free kick to Burnley. Linesman on this near side. With the yellow trim flag. Spotting that one. Stephen Davis to take a free kick for Burnley. Over to that far side. Pender goes and balloons it high in the air. Steve Harper can whip round the left-hand side. Steve Harper persistent. Steve Harper to the byline. Can he cross it? Then he gets the ball back again. For him. Still it's Harper. Harper, good ball. In man in space is Pender. Here's Conroy chasing that one back. A shot from Farrell, which is way over the top, but a good effort. Andy Gosney having to take another goal kick at the Beale end of the ground. Not too happy a night so far. Some 20 minutes gone and he's let in 2 goals. Mike Conroy on 11, John Deary on 17. McCarthy twists and turns, still goes round his marker. 1-2, and it's still McCarthy. He's going to have a dab here, but just wide of that right-hand post of Andy Marriott. Likes to take players on, John McCarthy, but really he must have players in support. Marriott take a goal kick. John Francis on the halfway line here, just holding his hands up. He's looking for this one. Francis quickly up there. York City defence with Nigel Pepper. Reed twists and turns, runs into Pepper. France, good first time ball. Can Conroy keep it in? No, he can't. No, well it was out of play, but the ref said play on. Francis to Lancashire. Lancashire turns, a chance for Harper, but he fed him a little bit short. But a nice bit of move there from Burnley. Conroy Francis, looks like Conroy's got that knock under that knee. Could be that he may come off in the second half. Harper again on the left-hand side. Steve Harper on the left flank wearing number 7. Prolific player for Preston. Ball comes over, Crosby away. Farrell takes a deflection with that shot. And again, to the hands of Andy Gosney. Steve Harper, one of the Frank Casper's real bargain. Well, I wouldn't say bias because he was a free transfer from Preston North End, the real prolific goal scorer for Preston, left-sided player, and he's settled in so well here at Burnley. Well played from France, rose above that cross and it came campering across. Sean Reid. Wayne Hall just about keeping that one in. Cosby crosses over. First time ball away by Pender. Here's Reid for York. Still Reid will power into Francis, but Francis gets the ball off him. And a long sweeping ball, but Lancashire just can't get a foot to that one. Here's Macmillan for York. Davis for Burnley. Blackstone dispossessed. Jacob back to Marriott. Marriott's drop kick at the cricket field stand. Long one looking for Lancashire. Harper get hold of this one. Midway inside the York City half. Burnley's left. Harper again. Evenly balanced with his bandaged wrist. And a good cross again. So, last, I seem to remember 2 or 3 years ago, Burnley beating York by, I think it was 7 goals to 0 or 6 or something. I wonder if that's going to be a repeat performance tonight. 2-0 up at the moment. Macmillan. 1-1 for McCarthy. Pender's in the way. Jacob back to Davis. Davis first time ball. Offside. That's Conroy. Quickly spotted by the linesman on this near side. free kick.
Coming up.
Paul Atkin, long one to the edge of the Burnley box. Davies heads away, Francis. Nice ball to Harper. Harper nods on for Lancashire. Lancashire's first time ball was poor, but the message was there. Macmillan, Blackstone gets the ball, challenges it down. Jacob goes in very hard. Here's Conroy, formerly of Reading. Conroy, a strange ball that from Conroy, but Lancashire's moving into the right-hand side of the box. Andy Gosner spots it very quickly. First time ball in from Nigel Pepper. Jacob cuts that one out. Farrell's left side for Harper. Harper goes round. Back to Jacob. Jacob sells a dummy back to his keeper, Marriott. Marriott looking perhaps for a permanent position here at Burnley. One hopes so. Marriott's good drop kick. Conroy back to goal and free kick to Burnley. Still having trouble with his knee, Mike Conroy. He could be off in that second half after running into Sean Reid in the first 12 minutes of the game. Farrell's chip, it's a bad one. Jacob, here's Blackstone, moves well, turns well. France chasing him, France getting the ball back with Davis. Davis telling his men to move. Move they have, and Mike Conroy is offside. Burnley 2, York City 0. Mike Conroy on 11 minutes, John Deary on 17 for the Clarets. Paul Atkins free kick. Ian Blackstone didn't get the head. Mike Conroy did. That was a good ball. Another strange first time ball from Graham Lancashire. Perhaps he'll get one right eventually, but 2 or 3 of those have been a bit wayward. But the idea's there. Andy Macmillan, right back for York, looks for Blackstone. Blackstone does well, chests it down, but loses possession through Jacob. Pender back to keeper Marriott. Flick, good header from Conroy, but Francis dispossessed by Crosby. In fact, he never really got to that ball. Pender having a chase with John McCarthy. Oh my goodness me. Oh dear. And that was a mistake. A very strange thing which John Pender. So John McCarthy pulls one back, and that should not have been a simple back pass, which John Pender and Andy Marriott got in all sorts of trouble. So that's a needless conceded goal from the Clarets, but these things happen. It seemed that Marriott had got the ball, but John Pender carried on going and ran right into the Notts Forest keeper. So McCarthy pulls one back on 26 minutes for the visitors. And he will not get a simpler gift. So that's taking the edge off things a little bit. Chance for York to sort of pull this one into the 2-2 situation. Blackstone, still Blackstone, dispossessed by Deary. Here's Reid, finds Pepper. Pepper's dispossessed by Jacob and his Marriott. So 6 of one and half a dozen of the other for that York City goal. Pender and Marriott making a right mess of things. Here's Harper. All right foot on the left flank. Conroy a chance, 3, no, no. What a miss. Should have been Conroy's second, dragged it wide. His left foot not as good as his right. Pender finds Deary. Deary in the centre circle. Right side to John Francis. Francis going well, runs the ball out of play. Seems need more space on the wing. Crosby, throw for City. Davis blocked by McCarthy. McCarthy puts the ball out of play. A throw into Burnley. Ian Blackstone just pushing Stephen Davis out of the way. He will be told off for that. So a 2-1 advantage to the Clarets, and Mike Conroy just missing that one on 26 minutes. Dragged his left foot shot wide from 10 yards into the box. And of course, New York City's goal, well, a bit of a misadventure from Marriott and Pender. Put it down to experience. Macmillan quickly whips it back to Andy Gosney. Completely misheaded from Pepper. Wayne Hall stabs it in the edge of the area. Pender distributes the ball away. Another good head from Conroy. Here's Lancashire, who spins down this right-hand side. Good cross for Francis, but there was the defence. Lancashire again, his cross over to that far post. A good cross again. And again, York City in panic stations there. Graham Lancashire showing a burst of inspiration down that right-hand side. Twice getting the ball across. Corner to Burnley, right-hand side of the Beale end. With Jacob to take this up to that near post. A flick at the bar. Oh, Francis from 2 inches over the bar. My word, they don't come much simpler than that. We've had 2 sitters in the last 5 minutes. Burnley should have been 4-1 up now. Francis's miss on 30 minutes. Corner from Jacob. I think the header was from Conroy into the bar. And then Francis from 2 inches over the bar. So action-packed first half. We've had on the half hour 2 near misses for the Clarets, a mistake from Pender and Marriott to give York a lifeline. Conroy scored on 11 minutes for the Clarets. John Deary made it 2 on 17. Played from Pender. Headed straight back by Macmillan. Sean Reid trying to set York City up. Throw into Burnley left side. Harper. Macmillan retrieves for York City, back to the halfway line. Sean Reid. Reid, square ball, finds Pepper. Pepper has to go backwards way, left side for Hall. And France getting his foot in the way for Burnley. Throw into York. Crosby with the throw to Hall. Hall straight into trouble into Davis. Davis dispatches down the right. Mike Conroy in possession. Conroy searching ball again for Lancashire. He's got the speed. He takes it down the right-hand side. Hotly pursued by Tuthill. Lancashire's first time cross takes a deflection to Conroy. Conroy back to Lancashire. Lancashire's first time second cross. Again, the York City defence having to pummel the ball away. Francis runs into trouble. Harper can't control it. The ball runs through to Andy Gosney. So Burnley have never really stopped since they kicked this game off at 7:30. Should have been at least 4-1 up by now. In fact, should have been 4-0 up. And we shouldn't have had conceded that goal, which came on 26 minutes for York. Harper losing control. Here's Tony Canham. Canham again, who likes to run at the Burnley defence to Hall. Hall, the edge of the penalty area, and unleash a right foot shot right into the cricket field stand. There'll be no problem for Andy Marriott with that one. Looking for 7 wins in a row. 6 in the league, 1 in the Autoglass Trophy. That was, of course, at Blackpool the other Tuesday night. And Burnley turned the great Seasiders inside out in a burst of 8 minutes. Hall. McCarthy will chase that. Free kick to Burnley. 12 minutes before the break, Burnley have that 2-1 lead. Davis, right hand side, long one for Francis, gets the head on for Conroy. Wayne Hall puts the ball out for a Burnley throw, right hand side. France, and a fine Lancashire, and Deary. France does well, but Wayne Hall reads his route. Crosby, Deary in there. Crosby into France. The City throw. Blackstone falls short to Crosby. John Francis in the way of that one. John McCarthy with a back header. Davis pushes it. Macmillan for York now on that far right, pushing it down the right hand side for Tony Canham. Canham's long cross into that near post and away, and well caught by Marriott. Conroy's great ball over for Lancashire. Lancashire chasing that one, but it's Steve Tuttle in the way. Back to his keeper, Andy Gosney. Davis. Harper makes rather a mess of that one. Macmillan finds Reid. York City's right-hand side. McCarthy's poor attempt to cross over. Davis. Macmillan again. Finds Canham. Being pursued by Farrell. Here's Pepper. Pepper stabs it for Hall. Francis in the way for Burnley. Here's Crosby. Dispossessed by Farrell. Challenged well by Lancashire. And away. Wayne Hall. Pender to Deary. Deary falls. France short. Wayne Hall's away here. Cross over to that far right, one for McCarthy to chase, nearly over to that far touchline. McCarthy still in possession as he weaves into the penalty area, then out of it again. Canham's shot well placed, not hard enough. Andy Marriott diving to his right hand side. Tuttle heads. The flick was from McCarthy, but the Burnley defence in there with Jacob, left side. Tuttle. Reid back to Macmillan. Still in the York City half. Tuttle again. Forward for McCarthy. Here's Reid again for York City. McCarthy in the inside right channel now. Can he cross over here? Straight into the path of Pender. Pender has to quickly dispatch it down over the cricket field side. Possibly a throw into York, or it could be a corner. Two-1 to the Clarets. Conroy and Deary the scorers. McCarthy on 26 for York. Reid. to Macmillan. A good cross from him. Blackstone couldn't get the top of his head on that. Wayne Hall. Crosby. McCarthy. Pepper. Still Pepper, but France comes away for Burnley. Well played from France, still in possession to the halfway line. And spoils it with a bad ball. Looking for Conroy. Dispatch ball was not good. Dreary. Farrell for Francis. Hits the back of Francis. Francis' first time ball again, but straight to York City. But here's Francis to follow it up. Still John Francis. Reed. Crosby. Hall. Again back to Crosby. Poaching is Graham Lancashire. A fancy black flick from Reed. Gets the return from Blackstone. Reed pushing it far right for York City. Macmillan picks the ball up. McCarthy. McCarthy again, one of his searching runs into the box, and the shot takes a deflection and a good catch from Andy Marriott. York City haven't taken this line down, they've come here to attack. Burnley still have that 2-1 advantage. Conroy on 11, Dreary on 17, and McCarthy for the visitors on 26, with approximately 7 minutes before the break. Burnley 2, York City 1. A good ball from Conroy to Francis. Francis has crossed, will be caught by the keeper, but he's missed it. He made a right mess of that one, Andy Gosner. He looked like he was going to catch it, but he just could not get hold of it. But York City clear again. Memories of Chris Marples there from a couple of years ago for York. Here's Jacob. Offside with the linesman's flag in. Mike Conroy offside. 6 minutes before the break, but injury time to be added on because of Mike Conroy's injury. It came in on 12 minutes. Conroy for Harper. Dreary, good ball from John Deary. Harper down the left-hand side for Burnley. Hotly pursued by Paul Atkin. And hits Paul Atkin as he took the cross in, and a chance for Deary, the ball to the byline. Can he cross over? He did a good cross, look for Francis, but whoa, Wayne Hall's there. Got some good play from Steve Harper. As his cross came over, it took a deflection for Atkin. John Deary's initial cross, not too good for John Francis, but Wayne Hall puts it out for a Burnley corner, right-hand side, the be-all end of the ground, with 5 minutes before the break. Burnley 2. York City 1. Jacob with that corner again into that centre catch from Gosner. He got hold of it that time. Andy Gosner. McCarthy trying to work wonders down that right-hand side. Throw in to Burnley. Steve Harper intercepts. And we'll wait for the ball to eventually come back from the segregation area of the popular side. Jacobs' throw. When we come on, say the fans, let's have the ball back to Davis. Whacks it first time, offside again. And of course, with Lancashire this time, caught in the offside trap. Yeah. Hey, Bill. Free kick to York City then. Paul Atkin to take it. Long one down the York City right. Looks for McCarthy. McCarthy wins it, loses it. Sean Reed's in there. So too is Joe Jacob. Joe Jacob makes rather a mess of things. And a shot blocked from Blackstone. Wayne Hall quickly in, retrieves it off Francis. Here's Crosby now for York City. Square ball. Finds Pepper. Pepper in the middle of the park, just wondering which way to twists and turns. Eventually goes backwards of square, finds Macmillan. Macmillan's ball looking again on that right-hand side, but again Burnley coming away with it, but yet York City come away with it. Sean Reid stabs it forward, one for Canham to chase, too long for him. Joe Jacob whacks it down the left side for Burnley. Tuthill balloons it high in the air, again down the York City right. Joe Jacob again heads it away. Crosby, Wayne Hall gets a stab in the back from Francis, from France. Farrell. As half-time looms, man on, man's got ya. McCarthy dispossessed him, but York couldn't do anything with it. Harper gets the a couple of blows there from the York City players. Macmillan's one of them, and the second one was Canham. Canham and Macmillan having a double blow on Steve Harper, Burnley's left-sided player, who kicks with his right foot, incidentally. Jacob with the free kick. Pender gets up. Francis's first time ball, he was looking in, ooh, rather wide of goal. The back pass, John Francis clipped the keeper Andy Gosner as he went in for that challenge. I think Andy Gosner's making quite a meal of it. So two misses in this first half for Burnley, Mike Conroy and John Francis. But Conroy's got one on 11, and John Deary got the second on 17. A mistake by Pender and Marriott letting McCarthy to pull one back for the visitors. So he fastly approaching the half-time whistle, with a bit of injury time for Conroy's injury. Dreary. Jacob hits the back of Canham, but still it's Jacob. Farrell. Francis with two on him, he's going to take on two. Hall's going to get it back though, he's going to put the ball out of play. Macmillan looking on. Conroy. First time ball in from Davis. Sean Reid quickly away. Here's McCarthy. Good ball from McCarthy, but France is there as equally as good. Blackstone, as France falls to the floor. Blackstone in possession. Wayne Hall overlapping on his left-hand side. Hall, first time crossover to that far post. So far there's not a yellow shirt in sight. And here's John Deary for Burnley. Harper. He makes a right mess of that. Here's Reid. Reid again, square ball, backward of square to Pepper. Pepper's shot again, covered by Marriott. Good head from Fleck from Conroy. Here's Lancashire. Lancashire's trying to not getting the first time ball to Harper. Davis, powerful first time ball, but again Macmillan will chase back for that for York City. And our clocks, it's half time, injury time, we presume. Gosney's kick. Davis's header. Conroy traps it for Harper. Harper stabs it in for Lancashire. Whoa, he's got it. Yes, he's got it now. Some really first time hard balls from Burnley, really good to watch. They're really knocking the ball about tonight. Francis, and Crosby was there to head away. In fact, it was Tuthill. Ooh. Macmillan deciding doing a bit of George Best in the area. A bit of dribbling from Macmillan, that doesn't give the goalkeeper any good at all. So, free kick to York. Davis for Harper. One for Deary to latch onto. Farrell. Right into trouble, Andy Farrell. Lancashire to the rescue. Joe Jacob, and in fact, Neat bit of play from Blackstone. Here's Hall, who comes crashing to the floor. Blackstone goes in on Farrell. Crosby can't get the ball away for York. Right into Francis. Throw into Burnley. Half time at Turf Moor. Burnley 2, York City 1. Mike Connor on 11, John Deary on 17, and McCarthy on 26.
Right, have you seen this? He always wears his ties for a bit. Amazing, he ever puts them on twice. No.
Jimmy Mullen or somebody.
Oh, sure.
He bought me a drink. Oh, you did do well.
You go on. Next time.
Very good, yes.
Next time.
Welcome back to the second half. 2-1 advantage to the Clarets. No substitutes as I can see at the moment. Still Conway on the field, about to get this one. Gets the ball down, a good effort now. A chance for Lancashire, who goes crashing to the floor. Conway again, the supplier. Graham Lancashire puts a little split second too late there. Steve Tuttle, long Jacob switching play, but straight into Pepper. Deary, first time ball for Burnley. Tuttle's header. Atkin still in possession. Well played from the number 6. Straight to Farrell. Farrell round in circles. France again. Farrell, square ball. Farrell's a little hesitant. Farrell's not too happy at the moment. Francis back. Rather powerful pass from John Francis. Throw into City with Crosby. Pender. All getting his head to that one. Blackstone and France together. So the scalps of Carlisle, Wrexham, Walsall, Lincoln, Halifax and Blackpool. Are York City going to be another? France eventually with this throw for Burnley. The ball on the floor would make me a bad idea, but the ball is still high in the sky over on that far side. And again, we lose it to a ball boy in the segregation area of the popular side. Burnley 2, York City 1. John McCarthy wins the throw for York City on the left-hand side. Crosby takes the throw for York. McCarthy twists and turns again. Blackstone's cross. Sean Reid's here. In support is Macmillan. Well played from John Deary, but only as far as Steve Tuthill on the halfway line. Pender puts the ball out of play for a York City throw in, right hand side, just under the Bob Lord stand. Pepper finds Macmillan. Macmillan's long cross over to that far post. Wayne Hall stabs it in. McCarthy's header, Marriott's catch. It's Conroy's first time ball for Harper, a little too hard. Throw into York then. Macmillan looking for... Pender puts the ball out of play as he miskicked that one. Mike Conroy with a heavily bandaged knee, left kneecap. Jacob. Another good ball from Joe Jacob, looking for Lancashire. Lancashire will get this one, but he loses out to Pepper. Harper runs into Tuthill, and Atkins sweeps up at the back, gives it back to Andy Gosney. Andy Farrell in a bit of trouble there, loses possession for Burnley. Here's McCarthy for York City, very prominent, very dangerous player. The shot comes in from Pepper, is wide of Marriott's right-hand post. Harper didn't connect with that, but Conroy did get a touch there, and McCarthy puts the ball out. John Pender not looking, Joe Jacob deciding to go forward to Conroy. Straight into the path of Pepper. Pepper searching the ball to the left-hand side. Wayne Hall won't catch that. Burnley throw-in. John Francis. Paul France. Graham Lancashire loses possession. Well, never really got it, did he, really? Tuthill to Blackstone. Blackstone turns on a run. Blackstone very strong forward, but not finding McCarthy that time. That must be a foul, but the referee says play on. Burnley have advantage anyway. Tuthill's first time ball, looking for Canham. And yet again a York City throw-in. York's right-hand side, just inside the Burnley half of the field, with Andy Macmillan. Looking for Blackstone, but there's Pender. Harper. Harper runs it down to the touchline. Harper again using his right foot. Conroy chest down does well. Here's Lancashire. Lancashire again to Conroy. Conroy decides to fall at the last moment, but here's John Deary. Can he swill it through? And he pushes it wide again for Lancashire, but he's offside. A nice ball that from John Deary. Runs into space very well, does Graham Lancashire. Gosney's kick. Davis's header straight up in the air. Hall and Francis. McCarthy's in there. France for Burnley. Looking for Conroy. And Francis taking a burst of speed here, but I think they've seen him just in the nick of time at the York City defence. Here's Farrell. Oh, and a bad ball from Farrell, but Jacob retrieves well. Here's Harper. Two men on Steve Harper. Cuts it back square to Farrell. Farrell, what will he do? Something positive, hopefully. Back to Harper. Harper over to that far side. High one offside. Quickly taken free kick. Over to Wayne Hall on the left-hand side for York City. Into the Burnley half of the field. Here's McCarthy. McCarthy finds Reid. Reid's first-time ball. France back to his keeper, Marriott. Nine minutes into the second half, still Burnley have that 2-1 advantage here at Turf Moor. Strange kick from Andy Marriott, looking for Harper, presumably the ball out of play. Out. York, City throw again. Macmillan's throw again, and Pender puts the ball out. Midway inside the Burnley half, York City's right. Macmillan for the third time in a row. Pender gets the ball headed, kept in play this time. Jacob whacks it high, looks for the number 11, who is Graham Lancashire. John Deary, well played from John Deary, finding space, moving out to Francis. France, first time ball again, one for Graham Lancashire to chase, but there's Atkin in for York. Here's Reid, a strong midfielder for York City. Reid, who finds Canham, and Joe Jacob commits the foul on Tony Canham. Free kick to York City and a booking. Oh no, just a bit of a talking to from Joe Jacob. The referee, Mr. Lloyd from Wrexham. Seems like Joe Jacobs having more words with the linesman on this near side. Free kick to York. Tony Canham will take this and kick this right-footed. Rising high above that Burnley defence, Ian Blackstone, but Andy Marriott was there, just balloon high up to Andy Marriott's hands. Oh, and a strange kick again from Andy Marriott. Unusual for him. John Pender to the rescue. Andy Marriott gets a second bite to drop kick. Not clearing the halfway line, Marriott, at the moment. York City look like pulling back at this stage. They're pressing hard for the leveller. Remember, Burnley's 2-1 advantage. Macmillan's searching ball. Davies heads away. Here's Mike Conroy, gets the ball away from his marker. John Deary, one for Lancashire to chase. Can Lancashire latch onto this one? He's got Steve Harper pushing up on the inside right channel. And straight at the head of Atkin. And offside going against York City, much to the delightment of the Burnley crowd. Free kick then, Joe Jacob will take. Conroy, another good header from him, but nobody there. Reid back to his keeper, Gosney. ...13 minutes into this second half. Burnley looking to go further ahead, but where York are playing at the moment. John Francis deciding to play who can kick it highest, and I think he's won that competition at the moment. Lancashire. Francis will not get that. Wayne Hall will. And Gosner says thank you very much. Andy Gosner doing a lot better with his drop kicks than Andy Marriott at the moment, but Ian Blackstone not able to control that. Throw into Burnley. Paul France, the ball aloft his head, looking for someone. Francis runs into Hall. York City throw-in. Uneventful for Burnley in this second half. Wayne Hall deciding to have a 28-yard blast, which is high and wide of Andy Marriott's goal mouth. So these goals from Mike Conroy in 11 minutes and John Deary on 17 are having to do at the moment. John McCarthy's goal on 26 minutes after John Pender and Andy Marriott got in an awful tangle, and McCarthy stole in to grab one back for the visitors. Blackstone finds Reid. Reid to McCarthy. McCarthy, good ball to Reid again. Blackstone will chase this one. Paul France back to his keeper, Andy Marriott. Marriott doing a lot better this time with his drop kick, and that was definitely a foul. Steve Tuthill, the man committing the hunchback on Mike Conroy. So a dangerous position for York City. Midway inside the York City half. Farrell will take this one. Again looks for Conroy, but it's Pender in fact over on that far side, and that comes to absolutely nothing. So not a lot to report in the second half, but we saw those two glaring misses from Conroy and Francis up to the first half an hour. Francis from 2 inches. McCarthy, don't get him in a position like that. McCarthy causing trouble, but smashing it wide. He's a real flyer, this John McCarthy.
Your father's just arrived, so can you meet him outside the ticket office? It's Mr. Mark Hargreaves. Can you meet your father outside the ticket office, please, after the game?
Strong header for Matkin. Here's Blackstone for York. Jacob in the way of that. Here's Francis for Burnley. John Francis moving in off to this left-hand side. A good ball for Harper. Still have to beat his man, Steve Harper. Again, all on his right foot. Crosses over. Oh, looking for Conroy. Oh, and what was that? Oh, it's Conroy again in the... Have to pass back, I'm afraid, at this stage. Farrell. First time ball in from Farrell. And away again by Tuthill. Here's France. France powers the ball in. One for Gosner to catch, and he will do. Dispatches the ball out of play. York City player injured. Words of wisdom coming from the Burnley bench there. Jimmy Mullen just perhaps telling Burnley to get a grip as they did in the first half. The two Burnley subs, of course, warming up as they do throughout the game. Mark Yates, number 12, Danny Sonner, number 14. Haven't seen much of Danny Sonner since he made the first team last season. I think possibly the reason for that being Graham Lancashire has overshadowed him. So we'll wait for Ian Blackstone to get on his feet, and he is on his feet for York. Quite an entertaining game. York City, of course, come here to attack, and attack they have. Substitution, and with it, Mike Conroy's coming off because he has, as we know, injured his left knee in that first half. Danny Sonner's coming on, as the man I was just talking about earlier.
Substitution from the Real team. Coming off, number 10, Mark Conroy. Coming on from the 14, Danny Sonner.
So Danny Sonner appears for Burnley as Mike Conroy limps off with his injured kneecap. Andy Gosnev. Blackstone straight into it, loses possession. France. Sonner, good ball straight away, thick of it. Lancashire. Crosby's equal to Lancashire, back to his keeper Gosner. Harper can't get round Reid. Reid finds Canham. Canham going middle of the park, switching over to the left-hand side. Francis with the head. Here's Deary. Good ball again for Lancashire to chase down that right-hand side. He's got players in support. He's got Sonner. Up goes Sonner, but there too is Macmillan. Francis. Sonner again. Can he hold on possession? A shot from Sonner. And not a bad effort from Danny Sonner. Straight into the thick of the action. Pender, McCarthy brings that ball down, taken away by Deary. Pender's first time ball, another long one, this time for Sonner to chase. Tuttle gets there first, puts the ball out of play. Jacob, Harper. Oops, back to Jacob. Right foot again. Oh, a dangerous one that. Confusion between the keeper and Atkin. Oh, that was a bad one from Lancashire. He could have used that a bit better, lifted it perhaps. Easier said than done. Farrell trying to push Sonner on that right-hand side. There's not that far over. Andy Gosner again with the ball, who drop kicks the edge of his area. Francis gets the second bite of it, but here come City. Francis injured momentarily. Burnley win possession. France straight into Hall. So a chance perhaps. Burnley's second substitution, Mark Yates. We wonder. Said not seen too lot of Mark Yates since he arrived from Birmingham. Francis flick. Sonner will chase, but he won't get that one. Atkin puts it out of play. Burnley throw in. 23 minutes gone. The second half. Burnley still have that 2-1 advantage. For Paul France attempted to take everybody on over on that far right hand side. Commits the sin. Free kick quickly taken by York City. Is Ian Blackstone. John Deary retrieves for Burnley. First time ball in offside. And it's Sonner. Flick from Cannon finds McCarthy, very dangerous player, and the ball was read through offside. The linesman's flagging on this near side. Rather an adventurous ball for Graham Lancashire to chase, but the ball's out of play. Still Mark Yates limbering up on this near side touchline. Wonders Jimmy Mullen's going to bring another substitute on. Sonner has been on for Conroy, of course. Not too much action for Burnley in the second half. They only mentioned that Danny Sonner straight into it with a first time shot on the turn just outside the penalty area. Francis getting that after Sonner's failure. Funny ball from Sonner all the way on the floor, but it caused problems for Tuthill. Sonner's cross, and Atkins header away. Teed up for Farrell. Oh, that was a poor one from Farrell. Francis got in the way of it though. Jacob, well played from Jacob. Finds Harper. Harper now to put that ball forward, surely, and he got round him. He's done well. It's Steve Harper again, and he's racing into this York City defence. Just one too many perhaps, but a good effort from Steve Harper, showing determination as he cut inside the inside left channel. Macmillan for York. Canham back to his keeper. Halfway of the field. High drop kick there. Deary. Francis using his feet. Jacob getting out of trouble well there. Sonner. It's foul, surely. Offside. Free kick then, as the night ebbs away. 19 minutes on the clock left. Well played again from Harper, having a tremendous game on the left flank for Burnley tonight. And that can be said of Andy Farrell, I'm afraid. Marriott smothering that as McCarthy looked on, ready to pounce as he did in the first half to pull one back for York City on 26 minutes. Steve Tuthill, John Deary heads forward for Burnley. Offside again, the offside trap being successful for York tonight. Frustrating for the home side. Mark Atkin to take this free kick for York. France's long ball there, but again York City heading away. Lancashire gets down for Francis. Francis seems to be struggling a little bit down that right hand side. Possibility for Mark Yates to replace him shortly. With 17 minutes now left on the clock. France going to get it across. And no, the challenge came in from Atkin, puts the ball out of play for a Burnley throw-in. The throw in to Burnley with France again on that far Burnley right. And nobody moving about at the moment. John Francis just rushing past. John Deary comes in for that one. France for Francis again. Francis getting to the byline, crossing over, and it's the head of Macmillan who just stops that. Falling for Harper and Lancashire. Harper puts the ball in, Lancashire gets up. Sonner's in there too, but John Deary has to pedal backwards to find France. For Sonner, back to goal. York City come away with that. As far as Stephen Davis hits that one high, looking for Harper. Macmillan won't get that one. Harper has. Can Harper get round Macmillan? Cuts inside over that far post. Oh, and it was the head of Atkin again who denied Burnley a third goal. York City on a bit of a counter-attack. Soon fizzled out. Marriott. Crosby hoofs the ball high to the centre circle. Pender bends it over to that far right. Sonner's up there, but Steve Tuttle back to his keeper, Gosner. Good header again from Pender, and a chance for Francis now to give it some space on that right-hand side. He has Atkin to look at a first-time cross for Sonner. Lets the ball run over to his left, really lets it go too long. Harper can't get there. Sean Reid and York City do. Reid quickly dispatches the ball to Blackstone. Steve Davis is in there. Farrell completely misses McCarthy. McCarthy's away on the right-hand side, round Jacob, but Pender's in, out of play. Macmillan. Here's Pepper. Pepper takes the return, a shot from Pepper over the bar. Pepper and Crosby linking well, but the shot not good enough for the visitors. Sonner and Tuttle completely missing that ball from the keeper Marriott. McCarthy on the right side, a nice flick back, but Andy Farrell's in the way and lets the ball run out. Not having the best of games tonight, Farrell. Davis. Hall, France wins that one. Lancashire. Hall gets it back. Crosby's first time ball for York City. Stephen Davis is headed forward. John Deary's miss. Sean Reid's collects. Pepper finds Reid. Cannon. And a chance here for York, but Burnley smothered them out there as they played some nice 1-2s into the box. Here's Harper, collects the ball on this left-hand side, chased by Canham. Canham dispossesses, no foul. That was a fair challenge from Tony Canham. Sean Reid. Tuttle puts it forward. This game's slightly fizzling out as far as Burnley concerned, but 13 minutes on the clock left. 2-1 advantage. Conroy on 11, Deary on 17, McCarthy on 26. So the visitors have yet another throw-in on that far side, and this game started off so brightly for Burnley, and the second half, well, has not been exactly the same as the first, to say the least. Farrell's wayward ball. Burnley throw-in. There he takes Sonner. Deary retrieves. Makes a mess of it, goes back to France. France chips it over the head, looks for Sonner down that right-hand side. Being pursued by Tuthill. Sonner wins a corner for Burnley. .11 minutes left. Burnley 2, York City 1. Jacobs' corner. High into the heart of the York defence. Tuthill heads away and finds Reed, rather fortunately. Or rather, good management, I would think. Wayne Hall sweeps the ball in. Looks for Canham. Pepper can't get to it with Blackstone. Here's Davis for Burnley. Puts the ball forward for Francis to chase. That ball spinning out of play on the Burnley left. Substitution for York City. Number 9 Ian Blackstone coming off. Ian Blackstone off, and on comes Andy Curtis.
Substitution on the York City bench. Coming off, number 9, Ian Blackstone. And coming on, number 14, Andy Curtis.
Sonner. Farrell. A good ball from Farrell, the first one he's put over there. Here's Harper on this familiar right side this time. Over to this near post, and Francis, oh, and it's cleared off the line by Atkin again. So it's Paul Atkin has twice denied Burnley a goal tonight. He's headed away at that far post. He's cleared off the line at the far post. Steve Harper's great cross. John Francis putting it back, but it's not to be. Still 2-1 Burnley lead. Paul Atkins free kick. Steve Farrell heads forward, and Davis actually seem to be well organised in midfield as York City, but John Deary sets up Sonner. Sonner on the right-hand side. What do he do? He lose it. He does well. He does well. He gets the deflection from that shot. The linesman's flagging at the far side. Handball. Jacob gets a gift, puts the ball forward for Francis, but Tuthill's there before him and dispatches the ball into the far corner of the Bob Lord stand. So Burnley supporters encourage their team on. 2-1 is not just safe enough, it's got to be 3. Mansfield Town, the visitors on Saturday, top of the 4th division, so Burnley will have to be on song for that one. Jacobs crossover to that far right. Steve Harper can't get his head to it, that Danny Sonner does. Here's Deary. Deary puts the ball in again, a chance for Lancashire, and he makes a superb header. And John Deary's cross. Graham Lancashire scores another for Burnley, 3-1. Superb on that. Perfectly placed cross. So just when we thought we needed that goal, I think that could secure Burnley's 3 points this evening against York City. That won't please York, but it will certainly please Burnley. Graham Lancashire gets another goal for Burnley. A remarkable run for the Blackpool youngster.
Ooh, tremendous save from Marriott. Canham's rocket, and really that was a reflex save from the on-loan keeper from Forest. That's the sort of save we need. Most dangerous when the side scores, of course, and they were dangerous then, was York City.
Right, 8-2.
A superb cross from John Deary. For Graham Lancashire, I think it's his 7th goal for Burnley. Or is it his 8th? But a superb cross, as I said, from John Deary. Inch perfect placing, header into the back of the net from Graham Lancashire, giving the keeper Andy Gosnett no chance at all. Matt Millen's throw for York City. John Pender heads forward for Burnley. Here's Danny Sonner. Free kick to York City with 5 minutes on the clock left. Burnley 3, York City 1. Pender goes slightly backwards as far as Deary. Doesn't clear though. Jacob does well, Joe Jacob. Much better position at left back than his previous midfield and sweeping roles. Tony Canham's cross come shot going wide of Andy Marriott's right hand post. So 7 wins in a row now for Burnley, 6 in the league, 1 in the Autoglass Trophy. And, well, we wonder who will be the next victims. Hall, Davis. Pepper gets in the way. John Deary puts another good ball. A good ball for Sonner. Sonner tries to chip the keeper, but he's not clever. Reed. Canham. All the way back to his keeper. Sean Reid not too happy with that. A drop kick from Andy Gosnett. Harper looks for the strong running Graham Lancashire. And he's fouled. He'll get booked for that, will he? The referee not too happy with the bookings. Not been, yes. Booking for Steve Tuttle for that foul on Graham Lancashire. I thought he might. Took him off the into the cinder track. Took the ball. Yellow card. And it's only the first booking of the game, actually, if my memory serves me right. A yellow card for Steve Tuttle. The booking for the central defender for York City for taking Graham Lancashire onto the cinder track. He's a tough lad. From the Fylde coast, he's okay. Jacobs' free kick. Looks one for the keeper. The keeper cuts it on the second attempt. Gosnett. McCarthy. France again for Burnley in possession. Another ball down there for Francis to chase. Can Francis latch onto this? Atkins there before him. Well played from Paul Atkin, the number 6. Harper finds Mr. Nobody.
Free kick to York. Reid will take it. No, he won't. Macmillan. Wayne Hall has to go backwards way. Reid's first time ball in, only as far as Pender. High ball from him. Reid again heads forward. Tuttle getting the boot in the way there. Davis heading on. Lancashire heads for Francis. Francis can't control it. Reid takes it away. Here's Canham. Pushing it on the right to Macmillan. First time ball to McCarthy. McCarthy's ball is wayward. Farrell intercepts. Here's Francis. Lancashire's making a run over on that far side. Sonner's on this left side. Macmillan intercepts. Stephen Davis. A long ball again, but Atkins there with his head, as he's been all night. France. Finds the yellow shirts. Out comes the keeper. Collects that one at the edge of his area. Macmillan to McCarthy. John Deary in there fouling. Free kick to York City.
Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance for tonight's match is 7,389.
7,389, just been announced the attendance of this Barclays 4th Division fixture. Burnley winning 3-1 at the moment, and we're in injury time in just a few minutes. Reid with the free kick. Burnley clear that ball, and Pepper's over there, twisting and turning. Pepper goes round his marker. Francis fouls him for that. Free kick to York in the dying minutes of the game. We're on full time. Substitute Andy Curtis, not been able to catch that one. Goal kick to Burnley. We're in injury time now. Referee looking at his watch, Mr. Lloyd. Marriott's goal kick. Harper gets the head. Lancashire heads on for Harper. Harper can fire. Can Burnley get 4? We'll just have to say no. Nobody really made that longer run. Waiting for the referee, looking at his watch, but he's letting this game play on. Macmillan's ball, Jacob's head. Harper chests it down. Had a good game, Stephen Harper. And the whistle goes. Full time. Burnley 3, York City 1. Conroy on 11. Deary on 17. Lancashire on 82. And for the visitors, McCarthy on 26. 7,389. Burnley 3, York City 1. All right. We have it on Saturday.
Mamma mia.